Of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community. Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this. And I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. And you must all know that. I respect you, Your Honor. I respect your decision.
Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here with breaking news in the Jussie Smollett case. Jussie has just been sentenced on the 5 counts against him. It was a very long sentencing hearing. It lasted several hours. Of course, the defense was able to put on witnesses to talk about Jussie and his character. And then they read letters from people in the community, from civil rights leaders like the Rainbow Coalition. And then the prosecution brought on people to speak as to why this was an egregious crime and why Jussie should receive a sentence of time in prison. All of that stuff. Well, it culminated with the judge giving a speech, okay? And he read Jussie to filth, okay? I am going to tell you guys some of the things that he said about Jussie, if I can get my... he said that Jussie... Okay, hold on, because I had made so many screenshots. He said that Jussie's name has become an adverb for lying. He said that he called Jussie a charlatan. He said he was a narcissist. He said that he was toxic. He talked about the fact that Jussie humiliated people in high places, politicians, fellow actors, community activists, Black Lives Matter, that he basically put egg on these people's faces because they stood up for him and they spoke out for him and they advocated for him to get a lighter sentence. He said that you used your family, you used the media, you used the people of Chicago for your own gain. You took resources from real victims. There's nothing worse in this country than being the victim of a hate crime. He talked about the fact that Jussie came up, in a well-rounded family, a family that believed in civil rights, that, promoted equal justice under the law. They raised him to have morals and values. And despite all of that, despite all of the hard work that he's done in the community service, that he threw all of that to waste by pulling off this hoax. And if that wasn't bad enough, when he was arrested and had the opportunity to tell the truth, he chose not to. When he went to trial, he chose not to. When he was having these favors by Kim Fox thrust upon him, he still chose not to tell the truth. And then he talked about Jussie's behavior and his arrogance during his trial and how he had the right to remain silent and chose not to. He chose to get on the witness stand and further perjure himself and just tell bold-faced lies that he showed total disregard, for people that have really experienced hate crimes, for people in the gay community who, people that deal with injustices every day, discrimination, hate every day. And he did all of this for self-gain. He did this because it was all about him. He wanted notoriety. He wanted to be the top story. And so he succeeded in getting that, even though it was repulsive, his behavior was repulsive. He did it. He got the attention that he wanted. He said that Jussie threw a national pity party. When I tell you, this man... He said, oh, you wanted to make yourself more famous, and now you are. Oh, he told him that you destroyed your own life. When I tell y'all, this man went on and on and on and on. He had nothing for Jussie, okay? Nothing good for Jussie. And so it seemed like at one point, he talked about, civil rights leaders that have come out who know the struggles, that's going on in the world, and that Jussie, and that they had sent letters to him saying, please be lenient. Jussie has his life ahead of him. He can do better. He can improve. He can go out into the community and talk about why what he did was wrong and why it was bad. And he said that he believes that is something Jussie could do, but he ain't gonna have the opportunity to do it right now, and that those civil rights leaders will have the opportunity to do that. So he eventually imposed sentence on Jussie. And Jussie, well, I'm going to tell y'all what the sentence was, and then I'm going to tell y'all how Jussie cut up. And I actually am going to do a second video so you guys can hear what the judge had to say and what actually happened at the end of court. But I'm going to do that in a separate video. Jussie received a sentence of 30 months. I believe it's 30 months supervised probation, but he doesn't have to remain in Chicago for that probation. I believe he can call in and talk to the probation officer. He is free to travel anywhere he needs to go for work. If anybody ever dares give him another acting position, he's free to travel to go and do that. And so Jussie was getting kind of happy, y'all, because he thought he was going to get this 30 months in prison and that was going to be it. So then he told him that he has to pay restitution in the amount of $120,000 or $125,000 and $120,160,000. It was some crazy amount like that. And that was basically the amount of money that was paid in overtime. So there was another figure that was given for the amount of hours that the police put into investigating this case. He said because this was a prominent actor and everybody was on it, like, how dare they do this to Jussie? What's going on? Are you crazy? Like, we got to find out who did this to Jussie. That the police put all these hours into investigating this. So the regular time hours, they weren't going to get compensated for because they had to work anyway. They were going to be working anyway, trying to solve crimes. So they didn't want restitution for that, but they wanted restitution for the overtime hours that were put in. And so that was the $120,000 that he has to repay. And then he imposed another fine of another fine of $25,000 that he has to pay to the courts. So Jussie was ready to get him go home, y'all. And then that man said, and I am also sentencing you to 150 days in prison that you will serve at the county jail, effective immediately. And then them bailiffs and whoever, them deputies, whoever be in the courts in Chicago. Here it's the deputies that be in their county, deputies from the sheriff department. They got up and went over to Jussie because Jussie stood up and was like, I respect your opinion, but I just have one thing to say. He pulled down his mask and said, I'm not suicidal. It was like, Jussie, who said you was? Okay, like, what are you talking about? And then he went on to say that he wanted to put it out there because if something happens to him while he is in locked up, that he didn't do it to himself, that somebody else did it to him, and that he is innocent, and he doesn't care. He knows that the judge is doing his job, but he just had to put it out there that he is innocent. He raised up his fist, power to the people, okay? Now he called himself a political prisoner, and I'm just like, Boy, if you don't go somewhere and sit down. I thought Jussie was going to get, some probation and going on by his business, but he just cannot stop. And then his attorneys got up and they were asking the judge, they want to appeal the decision. He told them denied. Then they said that they wanted him to be let go until they can file a formal appeal. And he's like, I just denied the appeal. You just made the appeal. I just denied it. He said, but if you want to do a written appeal, have a hearing, all that good stuff, he gonna be in jail because he get ready to go. They get him on up out of here. So I'm like, Jussie, like, you are doing nothing to help your cause, like no humbleness about you. And dude, that's all I can say, y'all. But anyway, y'all gonna let me know what y'all. Jussie, wait a minute, let me stop. Jussie even brought his grandmama in from New Mexico, child, as one of his character witnesses. I'm like, really, Jussie? Is that really what you're going to do? And so, anyway, this is my breaking news video. I am going to come back with a more sensible response. But Jussie was just cutting up in court just now, so I had to bring this to y'all right away. So go ahead, leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And then look out for the video with the judge actually giving his response, his statement prior to the sentencing. And then you'll also hear Jussie cutting up at the end of that video. And then I'll come back probably tomorrow and do a more formal video, outlining what took place in the trial and giving the backstory on the case and, the professional side of this. But right now, I'm just laughing like, Jussie, are you for real right now? Had his fist up, pumping his fist, talking about I'm innocent. I'm innocent. Okay, boy. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.